Look what I've got. Good morning. It's time for coffee with Karma. Whoop, did my internet just slow down? Okay, my screen has frozen. Oh, there I am. Okay, we'll try that again. Good morning. It's time for coffee with Karma with my new Coffee with Karma mug. Now, I don't know if y'all were joking or not, but if you actually would like this mug, not this particular mug, but a mug that looked just like this, I would be happy to set up like a print on demand thing where you can go order it. Just let me know in the comments below, but don't do it if it's not for reals. It's like I don't know why you'd want one with my coffee with this design on it, but if you do, drop a comment below and I will make that happen for you. So I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. If you had a nice long weekend. In fact, actually, the reason why this episode is a little bit late today is because I took today and tomorrow off because tomorrow is my husband's birthday. And so I slept in today, which was nice. Anyway, in having friends who are authors and working with authors, I've noticed something that happens a lot. And I think this is probably the cause of why so many people say they want to write a book and then don't. And that is perfection paralysis. Do you feel like stuck because you got to get every I dotted and every T crossed and every participle not split? Right? That's what it is. Well, I've got 3 tips for you today that will help you break through that, at least at the beginning part, because I've found that most people get that perfection paralysis either at the idea or in the writing. So, first tip, your idea doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be the best idea for the moment. And honestly, your idea will evolve as you write the book. So come up with the best idea. And I've got a framework for that that's talked about in my quick start guide for writing your authority building short book. If you are stuck at the idea phase, I highly recommend that you drop an emoji or comment below and I'll send you the link to my quick start guide. But basically, it's a 3-step process. You can get the best idea for your client attracting book, your lead generating book in like 15 minutes or less. Some people take up to an hour. So that's one tip right there. In fact, that's actually a bonus tip. Hi, my name is Carma Spence, and I help entrepreneurs write a lead attracting book in 90 days or less. The real first tip is to understand that once you pass that idea phase and you're actually writing, don't self-edit. Just get that dusty draft out, or as Anne Lamott likes to say, and I'm going to paraphrase her because I don't feel like saying this on a video, but you're going to have a crappy first draft. It's a meh. Or as Ben Joyous said in the podcast that dropped yesterday, it's a messy manuscript. Just your first draft is just that. It's a first draft, meaning that they're implying that there will be a second, maybe a third, fourth, fifth. I've had some writing projects go as much as 15 drafts. So, of course, that was that was an article. I would hate it if a book had 15 drafts. But anyway, a first draft is just a first draft. So it is the draft that helps you get all those ideas out on paper in the approximation of the order that it's going to be in the final draft. And what you'll find if you just keep plowing through and getting that first draft out is as you write it, you're like, I realized now that this thing I wanted to put in, I don't want to put in anymore. Or this thing I totally forgot to put in. That's what happens in the first draft. But as you get those ideas, jot them down in like a notebook or a document on your hard drive, wherever. Jot them down and then come back to them in the second draft. Your first draft is just get it done. Just get it done. And then celebrate. And if you want some ideas to celebrate, there was an episode of The Author's Switch where I talk about all different ways to celebrate throughout the author's journey. If that's of interest to you, drop a comment below and say, hey, I want that celebration episode. Or just drop the word celebrate and I'll send you the link. So first tip, get the draft out. So some of your I's aren't dotted. So some of your T's look like L's. You'll figure it out in the editing process. That's what editing is for. And if you need information on the editing process, I've got an episode of the Author Switch podcast that can help you with that. Just drop the word editing below and I'll send you the links for that. My goodness, I'm just referring to everything here. Second tip is set realistic writing goals. I'm going to give you permission to write however much you need to write in your life, in your scenario, in your situation, as you need to. Just because so-and-so writes a page a day doesn't mean you have to. Maybe you write 2. Maybe you write a half. Maybe you only write 1 sentence. That person who's writing however many pages a day has set aside the time to write however many pages a day. And you may not have that much time. You may have more, you may have less. What you need to do is set writing goals that work for you and your current situation. And to be honest, you may set ambitious goals at first. So it's an iterative, experimental process. What you do is you set a goal, spend a week trying to achieve that goal. I'm talking about writing goals here, not other goals. This is writing goals because you can usually figure out that a goal is working for you or not working for you within a week. So spend a week trying to achieve that goal. At the end of the week, evaluate what went right, what could use some work, what needs tweaking. Set a new writing goal for the next week that will work better than the goal you just set, and do it again. And just keep doing that until you find your particular writing rhythm that works for you and your life. Because remember, a busy mom of a toddler is going to have different time constraints than a mom of a teenager, than someone who isn't a mom at all. Someone who has a day job and is at a lower level, like an entry-level day job, is going to have a different time scenario than, say, a CEO of a company. So your situation is unique to your life circumstances. Find writing goals that work for you. And tip number 3 is a mindset tip. Cultivate a growth mindset, because as you may have figured out in the first 2.5 tips that I've provided, there are going to be mistakes. There are going to be flops. There are going to be failures. And you need to look at those mistakes, flops, and failures as opportunities to learn and improve. You need to cultivate a mindset that says it's okay to fail forward. What's more important than getting things right the first time or the second time or the third time is that you consistently get up every time you fall down and move forward, and that you learn from the fall. And hopefully you learn from the fall in a positive way, not a negative way. So for example, after my car accident, and I was finally allowed to go walking around without a walker, I could go with a cane. I was walking home from the bus stop, and I was just thinking to myself, having a good time, when the next thing you know, I was face first in the cement. I mean, it happened so fast. I didn't even know I was falling. It was like, boom. What I found was that there was a piece of cement. The sidewalk went this way, and then there was a piece of sidewalk that went like this. There was like a 2-inch jump, and I hadn't seen it. So I hit it and boom, down I went. Broke the 3rd pair of glasses that year. I went through all these pairs. I kept sitting on them, falling on them. It was crazy. It was a crazy year for glasses that year. Anyway, that's not part of the story. So what could I learn from falling down on the sidewalk? I could have learned I shouldn't be walking alone. I'm just a fall risk, and I can't be walking alone. Well, thankfully, that's not the lesson I learned, because that would have made my life a lot more difficult. I could learn maybe I should pay a little bit more attention to the sidewalk ahead of me and not be da 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 up in my head. That's the lesson I learned. So I will admit that at first I became obsessive right around that area. Where's that? Where's that thing? Eventually, I learned the lay of the road, and I just became alert enough that I don't trip over things as much. But you see, you learn from these lessons. Yes, sometimes you're gonna find yourself face first in cement and your glass is broken. What you do with that experience is you grow and you become better at walking along the sidewalk, or, as this is a metaphor of, writing your book. There's gonna be mistakes. That's okay. You're gonna have an editor after the first draft. And the editor may be you, that editor may be a loved one, and eventually, if you're smart, that editor is gonna be someone you paid. Anyway, those are the 3 tips for well, actually 2, 3.5. Come up with the best idea, not the perfect idea. Be okay with a dusty first draft, a messy manuscript. Set realistic writing goals, and just learn how to set those for you and your situation, and cultivate a growth mindset. I guess I'd be like that. That's the half. Anyway, this is the end of this episode of Coffee with Karma. It happens to be episode 36, and I will see you tomorrow when I will be talking about risk taking. Ciao.